Most people imagine obstacles as something solid and external, a locked door, a mountain, a person in their way. They believe that if these things could be moved or changed, life would finally open for them. But the truth is, the most powerful and stubborn obstacles are not the ones you see with your eyes. They are the invisible walls built inside your own mind. These walls are made of beliefs that you didn't even choose for yourself, fears that were planted in you long before you. Learn to question them, and habits that have quietly grown roots over the years. They cannot be touched, but they can control every decision you make. Imagine standing in an open field with no barriers at all, yet feeling as if you are trapped in a small, dark room. This is how most people live. The field is life-wide, endless, full of paths, but the room is the limitation you carry inside. You feel the weight of the walls, even though they are not real, and because they feel real, you obey them. You stop before you even begin. You tell yourself you cannot, even when you can. This is why some people spend years chasing freedom without realizing they have been holding the key in their own hands the entire time. The key is awareness. Awareness is what allows you to see the difference between a real obstacle and an imagined one. The moment you notice that the thing stopping you is only a thought, it begins to lose its power. The invisible wall starts to fade, but awareness alone is not enough. You must also take a step forward, even if it feels unnatural, even if the fear is still there. That step is what tells the mind, this wall is not real. And each time you do it, the wall becomes thinner until it disappears completely. You see, the mind is designed to keep you safe, but it often mistakes comfort for safety. It would rather keep you in the room you know than risk the field you don't. This is why your greatest growth often feels like discomfort at first. The mind whispers warnings, paints pictures of danger, tells stories of failure, because these things are certain, but because the unknown is unfamiliar. And so you must train yourself to step into the unfamiliar, to walk toward what feels like a wall, and to discover that there is nothing there. The first time you do this, it feels like breaking through something heavy. The second time, it feels a little easier. And after enough times, you stop seeing walls at all. What you see instead is space to move, space to create, space to become. And once you understand that the only thing that could ever trap you was your own mind's agreement to the illusion of limitation, you begin to live in a way that is not only free, but unstoppable, because nothing that exists outside you can compete with the strength of the one who has already dismantled the walls within. Energy is not just some mystical idea. It is the invisible language you speak before you open your mouth. It is the weight people feel when you walk into a room, the way nature responds when you move through it, and the force that either attracts or repels what comes toward you. Most people allow their energy to be shaped by whatever is happening around them. If the environment is tense, they become tense. If others are negative, they absorb that negativity without even realizing it. And then they wonder why they feel drained, scattered, or vulnerable. But there is another way. Instead of being at the mercy of the world's energy, you can generate your own, strong and steady, like a shield that nothing unwanted can pass through. This shield is not made of aggression or force, it is made of presence. It begins with the understanding that your inner state is your responsibility. Nobody can maintain it for you, and nobody has the right to take it away from you, unless you hand it to them. When you realize this, you stop reacting to every mood, every word, every shift in the air. And you begin to hold yourself like a mountain still, rooted, unmoved. The world can bring storms, but a mountain does not run from the wind. This kind of energy is built through discipline, through moments of stillness where you observe yourself without judgment, through breathing that slows the mind and calms the body until you can feel the strength beneath the surface. When you carry this strength into your day, others feel it. People who bring chaos cannot plant their chaos in you. People who carry bad intentions cannot pierce the wall of calm you stand behind. Even dangers feel different when you meet them. In this state, because when your energy is balanced, you do not feed fear, and without fear, you can act with clarity. And the more you maintain this energy, the less effort it takes, it becomes your natural state. Some will call it confidence, others will call it peace, but it is simply you, unshaken, no matter what tries to reach you. And here is the truth. Bad energy needs your cooperation to harm you. It needs you to open the door to believe its story, to carry its weight. When you refuse, when you stand with your own shield of presence, it cannot touch you. You begin to notice that the same situations that once exhausted you now pass through you without leaving a trace. You start living from the inside out, instead of letting the outside decide what happens inside. And in that moment, you are no longer just protecting yourself, you are shaping the space around you, turning it into something better, stronger, lighter, simply because of the energy you choose to carry. Fear is not the enemy most people think it is. It is not a signal to stop, it is a signal to pay attention. Yet for many, fear has become a command they obey without question. The pattern begins early. Something unknown appears. The mind imagines danger, the body reacts, and you retreat. In that retreat, the mind feels relief, and the pattern becomes stronger. Each time it repeats, the mind learns that avoiding fear is the way to feel safe. But what it doesn't realize is that this safety is an illusion, because in avoiding fear, you also avoid growth, opportunity, and the life waiting beyond the edge of your comfort. Breaking this pattern is not about becoming fearless. It is about seeing fear for what it really is, a story your mind tells to prepare you for what it doesn't understand. When you learn to listen without obeying, you begin to separate yourself from the grip it has on you. Imagine a door you have never opened. Fear stands in front of it, telling you what might be behind it: failure, pain, embarrassment. But the truth is, it doesn't know. It is only guessing. The only way to find out is to step forward and open it. The first step is the hardest, because it feels unnatural to move toward what you've been trained to move away from. But every time you take that step, you rewrite the mind's understanding of fear. You teach it that fear does not always mean danger, it can also mean expansion. You start to discover that fear is often a sign you are moving into territory that matters, that you are about to do something meaningful, something that will change you. And in this discovery, the pattern begins to break. The body may still react, the heart may still race, but you do not retreat. You breathe, you stay, you move forward anyway. Slowly, the fear changes shape. It becomes excitement. It becomes energy you can use. And one day, you face something that would have stopped you in the past and realize you are no longer the same person who once ran from it. That is the moment you understand. Fear was never the wall, lit was the gate. The only thing that kept it locked was your own hesitation to turn the handle. Once you do, you realize that most of the shadows you ran from were never as big as they appeared. They were simply waiting for you to walk through them so they could disappear. And in that moment, you are no longer someone who fears. You are someone who uses it, someone who moves with it, someone who understands that on the other side of fear is not just safety, but freedom. And that freedom is worth every step you take through the unknown. Bad energy is something you cannot avoid in life. It comes in many forms: criticism, envy, dishonesty, hostility, disappointment. It can be carried by people, hidden in situations, or even whispered by your own mind. Most people respond to it in one of two ways. They either absorb it, letting it drain their strength, or they fight it with equal negativity, which only feeds the cycle. But there is a third way, one that turns bad energy into fuel. To do this, you must first stop seeing bad energy as an attack and start seeing it as raw material. Just like fire can burn or warm depending on how you use it, bad energy can destroy or empower depending on how you meet it. When someone sends you negativity, they are offering you something you do not have to take as it is. You can take it apart, examine it, and choose how to reshape it. The insult can become a lesson about patience. The setback can become an opening for creativity. The betrayal can become a chance to refine your judgment and grow sharper in your choices. This is not about pretending bad energy feels good. Does not. It stings, it shakes you. It tries to plant seeds of doubt. But you are not just a receiver of energy. You are a transformer of it. The moment you understand that, you stop being a victim of what comes to you. Instead, you start asking, how can this serve me? How can this make me stronger? This shift in perspective is powerful because it changes your relationship with challenge. Instead of dreading it, you begin to welcome it as an opportunity to refine yourself. Every time bad energy arrives, you take its weight and turn it into muscle. And with each transformation, you become harder to shake. You realize that without challenges, you would not have developed the resilience you now carry. Without the critics, you would not have sharpened your focus. Without the failures, you would not have built the persistence that keeps you moving when others stop. Over time, people notice something different about you. They see that you do not react the way most do. You do not break when the pressure comes. You bend, you adapt, you use it. This is the quiet strength that confuses those who try to harm you. They cannot figure out why their efforts fail, why their bad energy seems to give you more power instead of taking it away. And you do not have to explain it because you know the truth. You are no longer at the mercy of what enters your life. You have learned to work with it, shape it, and make it yours. And in doing so, you have discovered that the same forces that once felt like threats are now the very forces that keep you moving forward with more clarity, more resilience, and more unstoppable strength than you had before. Balance is not something that appears on its own. It is something you build, protect, and return to every single day. Most people think of balance as a passive state, like a calm lake on a windless day. But true inner balance is not the absence of movement. It is the skill of staying centered while everything around you shifts. Life will always move. There will be noise, change, demands, and unexpected storms. If you wait for the world to quiet down before you feel steady, you will spend your entire life waiting. Inner balance begins with the decision that no matter what happens outside, you will return to a place of stability inside. This requires discipline because the world constantly invites you to give your attention a way to react without thinking, to chase every distraction, to let other people's moods decide your own. Discipline means you notice when you are pulled away from your center and you choose to come back. Sometimes this means pausing before speaking. Sometimes it means breathing before acting. And sometimes it means stepping back completely to regain clarity before re-engaging. This is not weakness. It is mastery over yourself. A person without balance is like a leaf in the wind. They move wherever the wind blows, without choice, without direction. A person with balance can feel the wind and still choose their path. And the only way to have that choice is to practice staying grounded in the middle of motion. The discipline of inner balance also means you treat your mind and body with care. You cannot expect stability from a body that is exhausted or a mind that is overwhelmed. Rest, nutrition, movement, and stillness are not luxuries. They are the foundation that makes balance possible. When you make these practices a priority, you give yourself the strength to remain steady even when life becomes intense. And when others lose their calm, you become the one who holds it, not just for yourself, but for the space around you. People will notice that in your presence, things feel lighter, clearer, safer. This is because your balance creates balance in others. But this is not something you achieve once and then keep forever. It is something you maintain like a flame. It must be tended to, watched, and protected. Distractions will try to pull you away, challenges will try to shake you, and emotions will rise like waves. The discipline is in recognizing this and returning, again and again, to that quiet, strong center within you. And with time, it stops feeling like effort. It becomes your natural way of being. The storms may still come, but you are no longer at their mercy. You know how to stand, you know how to breathe, you know how to act without losing yourself. And in that steady presence, you find that nothing outside can truly control you. Because the anchor you rely on is rooted deep within, unshaken by anything. The world brings there comes a point when preparation must turn into movement. You can study the map, sharpen your tools, and gather all the knowledge in the world, but the path will not walk itself. Many people remain at the starting line, telling themselves they are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions. But perfection never arrives. What does arrive are more doubts, more questions, more reasons to delay. And so the journey that could have begun years ago stays locked in the mind instead of unfolding in reality. Walking the path without hesitation is not about recklessness, is about trust. Trust in your own ability to adapt, to respond, to learn as you go. The truth is, you will never be ready in every way you imagine. But readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. The decision to take the first step and then the next, without waiting for certainty. This is where momentum is born, because once you begin, the path reveals itself in ways that standing still never could. Obstacles you feared shrink when faced. Opportunities you could not see appear only because you moved toward them. The hesitation that once held you back is replaced by the rhythm of action. And the more steps you take, the less you question whether you can take the next one. Every great achievement, every transformation, began with someone stepping forward. Before they felt fully prepared. Action teaches what thought cannot. When you move, you gain feedback from reality, not just from your imagination. You see what works, what doesn't, and how to adjust. And each adjustment makes you stronger, faster, clearer. This is how hesitation loses its grip, through the proof you create by acting. But there is another layer to walking without hesitation. It changes your relationship with fear. Fear may still appear, but instead of stopping you, it walks beside you, no longer in control. You stop waiting for fear to disappear and instead bring it with you until it fades naturally. You begin to see that hesitation was never protecting you. It was only keeping you from the life waiting for you beyond the pause. Walking the path without hesitation also means you do not keep looking over your shoulder. Regret, second-guessing, and constant comparison will slow your pace until you are barely moving. The path asks for your full attention in the present moment, because it can only be walked one step at a time. And with each step, you send a clear message to yourself and to the world. I am moving forward, no matter what. Even if the way is unclear, even if the road is steep, even if the destination is still far away, you keep going. This steady, unwavering movement becomes your signature. Others may stop, turn back, or wait for the conditions to change, but you understand that the path changes because you are walking it. And the more you walk, the less anything outside you can stop your progress. Because you have already decided that hesitation is no longer a part of who you are. You have seen the truth now. The obstacles outside you are nothing compared to the walls within. You have felt the strength that comes when your energy is your own, untouchable by bad intentions. You have learned that fear is not a signal to stop, but an invitation to step forward. You have discovered that bad energy can be reshaped into a force that drives you higher. That balance is not found, but built. and that the path ahead opens only for those who walk it without hesitation. Every challenge you have faced, every setback, every doubt, they were never meant to define you. They were meant to refine you. And now you stand here, knowing that nothing will stop you anymore. Not the shadows of your past, not the storms of the present, not the unknown that lies ahead. You have the clarity to see beyond illusion, the presence to guard your energy, the courage to meet fear with action, the wisdom to turn adversity into strength, the discipline to hold your balance, and the resolve to move forward without pause. This is the power no one can give you and no one can take away from you. The world will still test you, but you are no longer the same. You are unshaken, unbroken, unstoppable. The obstacles may appear, but you will pass through them. The bad energies may come, but they will dissolve in your presence. The dangers may rise, but they will fall before your clarity. From this moment forward, you do not wait for life to allow you. You decide, and life follows. And every step you take will be the proof that nothing can stand in the way of the one who has mastered themselves. Nothing.